do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs post-game podcast. Luke Stuckmeyer and Cody Delmendo. We got a beer bat chug coming from Mr. Delmendo in a minute. It's by the way, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute,
as the kids say, since you've done one of those. I feel like it's been a couple weeks since you've done a winning beer bat. There was one where you were off a day, then there was another, and then there just haven't been when we're in studio. Wins.
I know. The Cubs on the Cubs on the weekend haven't been great, but somehow, some way, they're only winning on the weekend. It feels like last week they got swept by the Angels, and then we were off on Friday. So,
well, this was a nice win for them. 11-3 over the first place Pirates. A nice win to start the homestand. Even I was willing to get through an hour-long rain delay to get a win here. Nice. They've cut into the lead a little bit. Now it's 5.5 in the division behind the first place Pirates. We said in the pregame show to everybody that was in the chat, and hello to everybody that's joined the YouTube chat here for the postgame show. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page. We'd appreciate that. We were saying this is actually a big series and homestand for the Cubs because you have a chance to gain ground. You can't just go going 500 probably isn't good enough on the homestand. And specifically against the Pirates, you need to make up some ground because they've given you the Pirates and Brewers have given you multiple opportunities to gain ground, and the Cubs have flubbed that away. There's been so many nights where the division has just said, all right, go ahead, pick up a game, and the Cubs can't do it. But tonight, what a difference home runs make, Cody. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
2 3-run homers. Otherwise, you got 6 infield hits, and I don't know what the score ends up being, but the difference in this is 2 3-run homers.
Yeah, so Ian Happ, in response to Chicago legend Jack Sowinski, hits a 3-run jack in the bottom of the first inning, and it completely changes the momentum of the game because, after the top of the first, you're like, Jameson Taillon, he hasn't been great this year, gives up the lead, gives up the home run in the first inning. The Pirates already jumping out of the lead here. The Cubs answer. You give him credit for that, and give credit to Ian Happ, who I have said so many times on this show that he has been awful with runners in scoring position this year. And in this instance, in that at bat, he was not. He hit a 3-run jack. There was a guy on second base. So technically runners were in scoring position.
You said as right before the pitch, look how much he's choking up on the bat.
Yeah.
And he really did shorten the bat.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, if he's been doing this lately, but it was the first time that I noticed it was, I don't want to say it reminded me of Rizzo, but
that's what I was just going to say.
He had his hands, you could see the knob and the bottom part of the bat.
Oh yeah. Rizzo used to choke up like a little leaguer.
Yeah. Rizzo used to do that. Yeah. So it was the first time I noticed Happ do that. So if he had been doing it for the last handful of days or so, sorry for not paying attention. But
I agree. It looked different.
Yeah. So him hitting that home run, it really stole a little bit of momentum. Obviously the Pirates eventually they answer back, so you don't get the shutdown inning. But then Jameson Taillon actually he got better as the game went on. Was he perfect? No, but it was his first quality start of the season. And listen, I feel like we should see we need to see better. He can't give up 2 homers, you know what I mean? Thank God they were solo. I guess I'm still wanting more, and I think considering his contract and what we're paying him to be, I guess we should expect more. But I do, I said this on pregame, he has been better his last few starts. And so I feel like he was due for one of these. And again, he put out a solid performance in a game the Cubs need to win. It's not like he went out there and gave up 6 earned runs Max Scherzer did tonight for the Mets while they continue to fall apart. You know what I mean? He came out there and gave you what you absolutely needed. And so because of that, the Cubs were able to, despite having a handful of chances to add on runs in the middle innings and failing to do so, he kept them in the game And even though he allowed the Pirates to tie the game with the second Sawinski homer, he still gave you 6 innings, 3 earned. I don't like if he gives you 6 innings every outing and 3 earned or less, like on a consistent basis, if he starts doing this on a consistent basis, then there's not a lot to complain about the guy. So I hope this is a start of a really good stretch for him. And again, yeah, the Cubs offense, it really opened the floodgates in the 7th inning when they just couldn't get any outs. And the Cubs had so many infield hits tonight. It was like justice finally served after all the bad luck they've had for 2 months. So, and Morel adding that 3-run shot at the end with the hilarious bat toss that I'm sure will not bother any Pirates old head. But yeah, just the all around good win. I thought it was obviously looked like it was going to be a lot closer, but they, this is the most 2023 Cubs thing, because like sometimes it looks like this team doesn't know how to score runs, and then you'll have nights like this where the offense will just break out and score runs in bunches. So obviously they need to be more consistent on offense, and obviously you're not going to get 6 infield hits in a game, but
that was the most Cub thing about the game, to be honest with you.
It was. But it was, again, though, you couldn't have asked for a better start to a homestand, especially this homestand that means so much if they want to be playing meaningful games later in the season. They got to win as many games as they can against the Pirates. They mean that much on getting back in this division race and even the wild card. I mean, they're 5.5 back in the division and the wild card. Do I think they're going to be in the race in the wild card at the end of the year? No, because I eventually think the Phillies or the Mets or the Padres are going to finally start playing like they're supposed to play. But they're right there. You win the next 2 and you're feeling really good, at least about the division. So it also helped that Milwaukee lost tonight too. And only the Reds
blew a late lead.
Yeah. So, again, celebrate tonight.
I'm not willing to go there with you yet. The optimism is not there for me yet.
I'm not even saying that I'm like full on like optimistic. I'm just happy that they're taking advantage of the opportunity. You know how many times? Remember in May when every team in the division was awful? Like there was multiple losing streaks by every team in the division, and the Cubs were they were playing along with them. Like this was like the first time it felt like all season where the Cubs took advantage of an opportunity given like in the schedule against a team that they need to beat. And hopefully that means tomorrow and the next day, like good results come too. Like I'm not bought back in on this team or anything, but I will give credit where credit is due. They won a game that they needed to win.
Good win. Happy birthday to Becky in the chat. The Cubs won on her birthday in the live YouTube chat. I am optimistic about this beer bat chug that's coming up. I'm optimistic that you haven't regressed. It hasn't been so long that I'm worried that you've regressed. So I'm going to get the stopwatch ready.
See if I can do this.
For those that are listening to the podcast form of the podcast tomorrow maybe on Spotify or Apple, make sure you hit the like button, give us the 5-star reviews, all those things. What you're missing out on the live YouTube stream, which you can go back and look at it on YouTube, is a beautiful pour of a beer bat.
Oh my goodness.
Of the full pocket Pilsner
from Goose Island.
Cody's done a beautiful pour.
I haven't done this in a while.
So far it looks like he hasn't missed a beat at all. Now, James Ward is calling for 12.2 seconds on this beer bat chug. That would be aggressive. That would be aggressive.
The record is 10.4.
Yeah, but it's been a while.
It has been a while.
You're like a kid coming back from holiday break.
I had plenty of alcohol this weekend though, so it's not like
you've had some.
Yeah, and I have some full pocket pilsners at home, so I know what this stuff tastes like.
All right. You ready? Now, I will start the stopwatch, the official counter, as soon as I see the first bit of beer hit Cody's lips.
This, I got to do.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The dedication. Excuse me.
Beer bat is to anyone who has just been riding the roller coaster of this team all season because it's been freaking painful. But tonight we get a little bit of an increase. So we'll celebrate this one and then go back to war tomorrow. All right.
Yogi's calling for 9.5. All right, go. Woo. There it is. We're underway. Delmendo's about halfway through the beer already halfway through. He lost a drip down the beard. That doesn't count. We're going to let it go. He's real close. Boom. 13.79. 13.79. Did anybody have 13? Robert had 13.25.
Okay.
And Rhonda had 13.
Oh, man. Yeah. I feel a little rusty. Even though I did that in 13 seconds.
You're going to be burping the whole time now. Well, it's good to have the chug back.
Yeah. And it's good to have positive vibes, man, in the chat. Just for like, even if it is for just one night, it's just nice. It's nice to see some people not.
Who was the closest here? Nick G was calling for 11 seconds. Jackson 13. Matthew thought 16.9. Nathan 15. I mean, Rhonda was real close.
Wow. It kind of helped too because it's kind of warm in here in studio.
Dustin Combs chugged his in 14.34.
Okay.
So he was chugging along. That's one thing you could do if you want to.
You should tweet if you took a video of it.
If anybody has a video of a beer bat chug that you're doing at home while Cody's doing it, maybe Cody's in the background and you're chugging against him. Make sure you tweet it out to us at
if someone actually does do that, like
that would be funny.
I think it would be the most hilarious thing in the world. So
that's the next phase. That's phase 2 of the beer bat chug. We've got Cody back to doing them on the show. That was phase 1. Now what we need is Cody on someone's television in the background on YouTube doing a beer bat chug, and then you're doing it in front of that with a stopwatch.
Yes.
A chug off, if you will.
Awesome. I'm loving the vibes in the chat. Let's go. This is good stuff.
First of all, hats off to everybody that stayed. Anybody that went to the game and stayed out in that rain and finished that ball game. Hats off to you, and hats off to anybody in the live chat. We got 123 people, and we're pushing almost 11:30 at night.
James says Cody's chug is way faster. Where did it go? Sarah, you're covering the comment. I'm sorry. Okay, there it is. Cody's chug is way faster when he's showing them nice thighs of his. He gets complacent when he chugs with pants on. Not totally disappointed, but just a little. You see, that might be my favorite comment of the night.
I think Studio B makes us look really short. The camera's real high. It shoots down on us. I feel like, check that out on the YouTube. Do we look real short?
I do think that it points down on us a little bit more.
Points down on us a little bit.
Yeah.
We can't let Ryan in here.
No.
we hope Ryan's going to join us here.
What an unintentional shot.
It was an unintended shot. Ryan hopefully will be able to join us from beautiful historic Wrigley Field after he gets done in the locker room. We're hoping he's going to have time to get out there. So, yeah, Happ chokes up, hits a home run. I saw Mark Silverman from Waddle and Sylvie on ESPN 1000 with a stat tweeted out going into the game, which I thought was funny because in the pregame show, there was a lot of anger and confusion about the lineup, right? Everybody was talking about the lineup and specifically the back half of the lineup, the bottom part of the lineup. Everybody was like, are we really trying to beat the first place team? Like, what's going on? This doesn't seem serious.
Yeah.
And Sylvie tweeted out, let's see what he had here. The Cubs had a total of 23 home runs in this season in their lineup tonight.
And then
they had 4 guys in their lineup who hadn't hit a home run all season long, and they got 2 3-run bombs tonight.
Well, one of them came from a guy who didn't start, but
yes, that is true. And by the way, did I not call that? Like,
you did call it.
As soon as he came up, I said, Zastryzny's not throwing strikes, and here comes Morel licking his chops with the score 8-3, thinking, I'm going to Javi swing at anything that comes across the plate. Sure enough, golfs went out. Looked like it was going to almost hit the building. I'm pretty sure it made the street, didn't it?
It definitely went on to Waveland, yeah.
And Joe Girardi said the wind was blowing in at that point still.
Fernando with the super chat, $1.99. Shout out to you, Fernando. Isn't it Wednesday yet? Did I miss the chug? Yes. If you just joined, you did miss the chug. So,
and in London, if Rachel's watching, it is already Wednesday.
Yeah, true. That's true. I think I saw a comment in there that said someone, I think French Bulls TV, he said that he wants to do a chug in London. I would love to see that video. I would love to see you do a chug in London, my friend. But Dustin
says his wife agrees. We will record me chug along with Cody in the background. Vibes. Gonna make it happen. See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's
participation right
Honestly,
there.
Those are immaculate vibes whenever your team is 8 games under 500. You know what I mean?
There's few things that I would like to see take off more than this.
Yes.
The chug along.
The chug along.
The video chug along.
We will definitely retweet every beer bat chug that anyone tweets at us.
I want to see P. Will supporter do a chug along when Madrigal hits his first home run.
Oh yes. When Madrigal finally hits that first Cubs homer,
when he takes one out, then we're gonna all have the chug along.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing about the start from Taillon, it was we've set a low bar because things didn't start off very well. We expected big things coming in from the offseason, but his last 3 starts have all been better. None of them have been great starts.
They've been
5 2/3, 5 1/3, 6 innings. I think all 4 runs or less. I think a 4-run, a 3-run, and maybe a 1-run. So they've all been better starts. If he could have avoided Jack Sawinski, he probably only gives up 1 run in this game.
Yeah.
Now, all I can say about Sawinski is he likes playing when he's back home.
He does. He does love coming back to Chicago and playing here.
When even before he hit the first home run tonight, I said, this guy, 14th rounder from Taft High School, I don't ever want the Cubs to just take a guy because they're from Chicago. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But once you get to like the 13th round,
why not?
Well, what the heck? Why not? Because if you don't, this is what happens. Now you watch this guy shove it down your throat in the division over and over and over. And you're like, man, this kid was literally playing in our backyard.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Jameson Taillon's game log. So even his last start, he gave up 4 earned. And
but
that was against the Angels. And honestly,
5 1/3 or 5 2/3.
It was a 5 1/3. And honestly, it should have only been 2 earned, but David Ross really pushed him out there because he didn't trust the bullpen. And tonight, I felt like maybe he pushed him again, especially after Sawinski hit the second homer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you do now? I think he walked a guy after that, but then he gets the big double play started by Matt Mervis that was beautiful after it played out, and it got him out of the inning and gave him a 6-inning start. So, the defense was great behind him tonight, and that was something that was not great against the Angels in his last start. So defense picked him up a little bit. Obviously, to me, the home runs are the thing that bother me the most with Taillon, because he gave up 2 home runs in that game, gave up 2 home runs tonight. He's given up 2 home runs in 2 other starts this season. So, thankfully tonight they were solo shots, but that and the fact that he has really struggled against lefties this year. Hitters are hitting over 300. Left-handed hitters are hitting well over 300 against him, slugging over 600, having on base over 400 as well. That's a Hall of Fame player. You know what I mean? He has to be better against lefties. And the first few innings when he was out there going up against Sawinski and Bay and who's the other guy? Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds almost hit one out, but it stayed in. He got lucky on that one, but he gave up a hit to him his second at bat. Some of those lefties looked real good against him, and I think that's the big thing for him moving forward is keeping the ball in the ballpark and getting better against these left-handed hitters. So again, I just hope this start is a stepping stone. Again, he's gone 5 innings, and he's gone at least 5 innings in his last 3 starts. Finally went 6 innings tonight. Again, the bar is low, and we should expect more considering how much money he's making. But tonight there's not a lot to complain about other than the home runs, but thank God that they were solo shots.
That's 100% true. If you can limit that, if you can keep guys off base, he only walked a couple guys tonight. That's where you get into trouble.
Yeah.
When you start giving free bases to people and then the home run comes, and then it's really a problem. So
yeah,
he did avoid that. Trevor in the chat, I was getting to this next, but I saw you reminded me also in the chat. He said, can we talk about the fact that Nico Hoerner probably played with what has to be busted fingers. Here's what I want to say. Please stop bunting. Please.
Yes.
Listen, I'm okay with trying to steal all the bases you want with the new rules. And the Pirates have turned it into a winning formula. They've stolen a lot of bases this season, the most in the National League. What I don't want to see is the Cubs bunting. Almost ever. Yep. If it's a playoff game and you're trying to get across the last run and it's a walk-off deal, if you can push it across, I don't like giving up free outs. They're too important, and too many funny things can happen in baseball. On the base paths, whatever's going. I don't like bunting. Nico Hoerner squares around a bunt, can't get the bat out of the way, and it drills him right in the fingers. Yeah. I don't know how he doesn't have a broken finger. And by the way, if you lose Nico Hoerner, we're in big trouble.
Oh yeah. If they miss any time from Swanson or more significant time from Hoerner, yeah, they're done.
But he wasn't the only one bunting. We had multiple guys out there. Barnhart tried to bunt in the 5th inning. I don't think he eventually bunted. I don't think he could get the bunt down. But that one, I was like, what? Please stop. And then Masterboni tried it in the 6th inning on a squeeze play, right? Wasn't that Masterboni was the squeeze? I don't love that either, to be honest with you. And he couldn't get the bunt down.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that inning because that, even though the Cubs scored a run that inning, they should have had more.
Yes.
So Mervis had the big go-ahead hit, right? The RBI hit. And then Masterboni came up, I believe. And I'm going to assume David Ross had the bunt sign on, and that is why he did it. And it just wasn't a good bunt. I mean, it was actually surprising that the guy just didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
And so that leads to a force out at second. And then Madrigal comes up and shoots an opposite field ground ball, whatever. And of course it hits Masterboni. Like, I was just honestly, all I could do in the moment was just kind of laugh, because it's just like, that describes this team, and that describes Masterboni's season to this point. And like, when you see the replay, it's like, man, he could have avoided that, but like, I'm not the guy on first base. Like, I don't know. Like, he's a major leaguer. Like, he's got to know to try to avoid that ball. Like, all I know is that it didn't end up hurting him. So it is what it is. But that inning alone described Miles Masterboni's like season to this point, like in grand scheme. And I'm someone who has wanted to give him more of a chance. I've looked like I've tried to, you know, I don't really say, I'm not even really talking myself into him. It's more of like, I think he can be a good bench player. It's not like it's not like I think he should be playing every day. I don't think him or Madrigal should be playing every day. They need a better third baseman. That's what I think. But given the circumstances, if you're gonna put them both in the lineup, like, whatever. That's why people didn't like the lineup, mainly is because the bottom three, you know, that scenario just kind of summed up the entire season for me. And like, thank God tonight was like one of the few times where it just didn't come back to haunt them, because like, when they didn't score that inning, I just felt like the Pirates were going to come back and at least tie it, and they didn't. So credit to the bullpen, because I believe Merriweather came in and got 2 quick outs, allowed an infield hit, and then hit a liner into Nico Hoerner's glove, and he made a great play. Got him out of the inning. Cubs come up, they score 5 runs. So it didn't end up hurting them, but that was just a weird inning. But I agree, like, bunting, I've came to the conclusion that the only time that I actually like bunting is in extra innings, because you got a guy on second base to start the inning now. That's the only time I can think of where I actually like bunting.
And you're the home team.
Yes.
Really, to be honest with you.
Like, in a tie game in extra innings and you're the home team. That's the only time that I can think of bunting being a good idea.
I don't understand Nico Hoerner bunting. I don't know if that's something he did on his own, but it just doesn't make sense. He's one of your better hitters. He's the guy near the top of the lineup. Why would you be bunting that early in the game?
Yeah.
And then when he almost breaks his fingers trying to do it, they still attempted bunting 2 more times in the game. And I get that Barnhart and Masterboni are not guys who are big weapons offensively, and you're just trying to create a little something. I just don't like giving outs away.
Yeah.
I don't. But the Nico one is the one that really bothered me the most.
Oh my God. People supporter, he is going at me about this Masterboni thing. He's saying that I said Masterboni was an all-star. When did I ever say that? I never said that Masterboni was an all-star.
It wasn't happening. Who's doing the beer bat chugs here? Come on now.
Go off, man. Madrigal, he hit a ball that would have gone the outfield tonight. Congratulations.
I saw P. Will supporters saying something about he gives you 2 hits every night he's in the lineup.
He doesn't.
I believe he had 2 hits since he's been called up coming into the game.
I gave Madrigal credit for this. When he came back from Iowa, he walked in consecutive games.
There you go.
I gave him credit for that because I want to see more of that. You want to hit ground, nothing but ground balls 69% of the time. If you can walk and do that, okay, fine. I'll find a way to get up for you. That's the only thing that he's done that has impressed me. All he has continued to do since he's got back from Iowa is hit nothing but ground balls.
He says he was just messing with you.
I know.
Get you fired up about Madrigal.
I know.
Let me tell you what I get fired up about. Watching Cody Delmendo take down a beer bat chug in less than 14 seconds. Did it again tonight. What was it again? 13?
13 seconds, according to sources.
Just wanted to make sure that can was empty. And if there wasn't, there you can hear
I have
it.
Integrity, Luke. Come on, man. Why would you even check?
Even on the podcast form, you can hear that is an empty tin can of Pocket Pilsner.
I have integrity. I can't believe you even checked.
Goose Island is the official beer of CHGO. Chicago's beer since 1988. Their beer roster includes the Goose IPA, 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, the Tropical Beer Hug, the 312 Wheat Ale, and Cody's favorite, the Full Pocket Pilsner. Perfect for the beer bat. Goes down smooth. He used to do the 312. He still likes the 312, but the Pocket Pilsner has been the choice of late. Grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. And while you're taking down a few Goose Islands, make sure you get fitted out with the best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between from FOCO. It's springtime, and baseball season is in full swing. Summer's almost here. The Aloha shirts are out, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. I think it's going to be, they're saying like 85 this weekend when the Orioles are in town. We have some beautiful new set decorations for you that you'll see on many of our shows when we're in studio, including the Hayden Wesneski bobblehead, which I don't believe we have back here tonight.
No, he just put the 2 World Series champions behind us.
But it's a beauty. Mm-hmm. Make sure you check out FOCO.com. Click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. They got a lot of good stuff, a lot of unique items. Who was the pitcher? Was it wasn't Swarmer last year?
It was Schwarmer.
Oh, it was Swarmer.
Matt Schwarmer.
That's Swarmer.
What was your favorite part of the Matt Schwarmer era?
I wonder if we could still get that bobblehead
when he had
the guys at FOCO.
His major league debut.
Do they have any extras? Are there any left?
Outing against the Cardinals. That'd be insane if they did. Actually, they probably should. They should just send us one.
Man, we could. I definitely would put it on the set.
They should send us like 5 of them. I'll take one home. Like I'll put it on.
I'll take one home.
I'll put it like in my apartment.
Oh, nice.
Somewhere.
You'll take it home. Make it yours.
No, they should send us all like one.
Oh.
Wouldn't you want a collector's item?
I mean, it would be. Get it autographed.
He now plays for the Braves organization.
Craig Brindle with the update from the minor leagues. He said DJ Hers and PCA had a good night for the Smokies.
There you go.
Speaking of minor league baseball, Cody Bellinger, I believe, was 0 for 4 at one point. I don't know if that's how he finished, but playing at Iowa and playing first base. So David Ross was asked about that pregame. I don't know if Sarah can hear us, but if Sarah has the soundbite, let's pause for a second and hear David Ross talking about Cody Bellinger at Iowa playing first base tonight.
There's a number of thoughts there, just probably easier on the knee from everything that he's done up to this point. That only thing that has bothered the knee is just the all-out sprint, the extension within that, and also Tauchman's swinging the bat really well and held down center field pretty well. So just trying to find the best lineup whenever Belly gets back, and having him, he's pretty darn good at first base and has been, and just having another option up there makes some sense.
So you do see him potentially playing first base when he comes back?
Sure, yeah. We're not at first base reduction, and hasn't been one of our strengths so far this year. So gotta get somebody going with it.
Oh, so David Ross, actually coming out there at the end and saying, first base has been a problem. It's been a problem. I'm not happy. I'll tell you why. For who you got, Matt Mervis got a hit, and then they pulled him out of there for Mancini with the bases loaded. Come on, who you got was on the line.
It was on the line. You were pissed.
It was on the line. Ross should be suspended for that move.
And he brought in Mancini, who struck out on like
swing.
He struck out on like 3 pitches.
And Mervis could have done that, but I think Joe Girardi said what a lot of Cubs fans were probably thinking going into this game is, Mervis is sitting there and he hasn't had the success that he's wanted to have. I don't think it means he's not going to be a good player someday. It's just, that's the way it is sometimes when guys come up for the first time. He's come up, he struggled with the bat a little bit. He struggled defensively a couple of times, but overall, I think he's been okay at first base. Bellinger's a really good defensive player. I think it's a great idea for all of the reasons David Ross said, trying him out here at first base when he comes back. Number one, it'll ease him back from the injury. He wants to get back. The Cubs need him back. Tauchman has played serviceable, if not good, center field. And so it could lead to a better lineup, and you still could have Mervis get his at-bats if you want as the DH. So it doesn't mean Mervis isn't going to play. It just means he might not be playing first base every night.
Yeah.
So
probably be more DH.
I think if you end up deciding the move is that you're going to trade Cody Bellinger at the deadline, only showing a team that he can play first base as well as center field, even though people have seen him do it before with the Dodgers, it only increases the value. The other thing that increases his value is keeping that knee healthy.
Yeah.
And if this is the big one for me, if he shows you that he's an elite first baseman and that the bat comes back and he's 27 years old, I don't let him out of here. I don't care what I'm getting back for him. I'm keeping him here because PCA likely is the future at center field, but he's a prospect. He's a great prospect, but he's a prospect. Brennan Davis was the top prospect in the organization. He's having a tough year right now. He had a tough year last year. Adding good players is never a bad idea. And if that means PCA and Bellinger are both in the outfield and somebody else is DHing, whether it be Happ or Seiya in the future, that's okay. If that means somebody gets traded, that is okay. If it means he plays first base and Mervis is just a DH for a while, that's okay. If it means Mervis has to go back to Iowa for a little bit, that's okay too. I like the idea. If you can find lightning in a bottle and help Cody Bellinger find his form like he had it at the beginning of the season, I think he's too valuable to let go. I would try to extend him as much as I would try to extend Marcus Stroman.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not like Cody Bellinger's never played first before. He's played a good first base for the Dodgers in the past, right? So I'm not worried about what he's going to be over there. Obviously, you'd rather have him in center field because he's proven to be a Gold Glove center fielder, but with the knee issue and everything, it's not even that I fully expect that they're going to play him at first the entire time when he gets back. It's more of like maybe center field a few days a week and first base the rest of the week.
Or maybe it's first base and DH for a while until he feels good.
Right.
Depending on how well Tauchman's playing, sure.
Yeah, as long as Tauchman continues to give really good quality at bats, because like even when he does make it out, he's still making the pitcher throw pitches. Like he's working walks, he's getting hits, he's making things happen, and he's playing a very serviceable center field. You know what I mean? So like I can't complain about continuing to ride this streak of Tauchman whenever Bellinger comes back. And I don't know when Bellinger's coming back. I would have guessed that Bellinger is going to be back by the weekend because the Cubs need him. If he's healthy enough to where they can send him to Iowa to get at bats, I'd expect him here by the weekend. I hope he's here by the weekend. All right.
Me too, because it started off as it was just day to day,
right,
and then it turned into
a month,
and it's been a bad month without him.
Yeah. So they need him back, and so sure, yeah, play him at first a little bit. Yeah, maybe it increases the quote unquote trade value if he shows teams know he can play first base, so I don't really necessarily buy any of that, but I do buy in the fact that with the knee injury that he had, like, now to go back and have to play center field and play it at the level that he was playing, I don't expect him to be able to do that right away. So I think if you can play him at first and get that bat back in the lineup, it's huge for this team. So that's why winning these next 2 games ideally would be even better. That way, if they do that, they can go into the weekend with Bellinger coming back, perhaps we'll be feeling good going into the weekend. And again, this team needs to get on a roll, man. And I think they can do it with Bellinger getting back. I don't think he's the sole reason this team has suffered or just been downright bad the last month and a half or whatever. But I do think his presence, not only offensively, but defensively as well, in some aspects, has been missed. But more so offensively. Just the presence alone in the lineup. He was a big part of the offense before he went down. So they definitely need the bat back, and they need him to give quality bats, whether it's working walks, extra base hits, hitting the ball out of the ballpark, all of that. He was doing all that in April, man. They need that. They need it back soon. So, yeah. I mean, I as far as the extension thing, I've always thought this because I've been told, I've been force fed by the Cubs themselves that this is not a rebuild, that this is,
it's a rebuild.
I have been
lied to you.
I have been force fed by them that this isn't going to be like the last rebuild. In other words, you know what I mean? And that took 4 or 5 years, right? If they want to be real contenders in 2024, which, they have a young nucleus of players on top of better prospects coming up next season, like PCA, like other guys that we haven't even mentioned, on top of, maybe making a major trade this offseason, or maybe, signing Matt Chapman. I don't know. All I'm saying is that this team should be significantly better next year and should be in even better position to actually win this division or just make the playoffs without us having to sit here and talk ourselves into, if this happens, and if this happens, and if this happens, they can do it. That is what they have sold to us, that this team would be ready to really compete for a playoff spot and make a playoff run starting in 2024. That is what they have sold to us since the trade deadline of 2021. So if they're serious about that, if they're not just feeding us bullshit, then yeah, I've always been about keeping Stroman and keeping Bellinger the moment they signed Bellinger. You know what I mean? If he performed the way that we hoped that he would. And for a month, he did. And then unfortunately, an injury happened. And the injury, it's not even like he made an incredible catch. I'm not going to fault the guy for that.
No.
So he's, again, a lot of things have to happen still for him and Stroh to stay on this team, I think. But right now is the time. This is their last quote unquote stand to get back in this playoff race as far as the division, at least, and force the Cubs in a way to add to this team at the end of July.
I've noticed that in the live chat, James Ward has said, Cody talks mainly with his hands. Luke talks like he has no hands. Listen, a Jedi doesn't need to use his hands. This is the podcast you're looking for. This is the YouTube show you're looking for.
Yes.
You'll give it 5 stars.
5 stars.
You'll give it a thumbs up. You'll give it a positive review. See that? Did you see all the likes that just popped on the screen right there?
Yeah, I see them all.
See them all going up? How many do we have? I can't see them.
I can't see them because we're.
Oh, let me look here.
We're using a different platform.
Yeah, we're using a different platform tonight. Sorry. Well, please hit the like button while you're there. So the All-Star voting came out 2 days ago, Sunday night, Monday morning. The first set of All-Star votes. The Cubs have Dansby Swanson sitting 5th at shortstop. Trey Mancini 5th at first base. 5th at first base. Christopher Morel 5th at DH. Nico Hoerner's 8th at second base. Cody Bellinger 8th in the outfield. Seiya is 10th in the outfield. Two things. Trey Mancini 5th at first base. He's not having that season right now, guys. And Nico Hoerner at 8th. Cubs fans need to get back to the way it used to be when I'd go to Wrigley Field and you'd line up the punch hole cards like 25 deep and you'd take a really sharp number 2 pencil and start jabbing it through for every Cubs player. How can Nico Hoerner be 8th at second base?
Yeah. Well,
in the National League,
to be honest, like there's a lot of good second basemen.
There are, but he is not.
He shouldn't be 8th.
He's not 8th. And heaven bless the people that put Trey Mancini up to number 5. Like, what's going on? Are you serious?
Yeah, no,
the voting is just like silly sometimes.
I've sat in here and I've sat in the studio and I've said, Nico Hoerner's gonna be an all-star one day. His April was unreal. He hit like 350 in April. He looked like he was headed straight to the All-Star game in Seattle. But he has struggled since May 1st. So, but I do think the defense has been good enough to be Gold Glove worthy. And I do think that, he's worthy of being an all-star one day. You know what I mean? So whatever. You want my real thoughts? Like, I don't really care if any Cubs go to the all-star game. I never really have. Because I'd rather them go home and rest, and then let's go win a freaking division.
Yeah, I mean, Stroman's going to go to the All-Star game.
Stroman will go. I do think that Swanson has a good shot still. He leads all NL shortstops in WAR.
If he hasn't been traded yet, Stroman will be at the All-Star game in a Cubs uniform.
Yeah. And maybe Morel has a good shot too. He's a very fun player. I honestly would love to see Morel in the Derby, but
he would be a fun guy in the Derby. I don't know if they'd have him like. Would you rather see Morel or Wisdom? I'd rather see Morel.
I'd rather see Morel at the Derby.
Just for the vibes because you have so much fun.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to hit that home run tonight, and the bat throw was just.
Someone's getting hit by a pitch tomorrow.
Overhand throw at the dugout, and then he did his little skip toe tap thing as he goes around third base. I mean, I love it. I love it. I know I'm old and I shouldn't, but I love that stuff. And I think if you throw it at somebody tomorrow, you're crazy. It's just like, everybody grow up. It's just a game. They're having some fun. He was given a little something to the fans that stuck it out through a 4-hour game with an hour-long rain delay. So,
Clint Hurdle would have absolutely hated that.
Oh, would he ever? He probably would have gone out and tried to tackle him at third base.
Yeah. So anyway, I do think Nico should be higher on the list in terms of, votes, I guess. So go vote for Nico. I do think that voting at the ballpark, like it used to be, like how you said, like you do the actual voting there.
Right. Yeah.
I do think that is missed and they should still do that.
It was fun. Does everything have to be digital? Come on.
Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not motivated to go and vote for anyone. I'm just not, because I just don't care. So
it's a fun thing to do during a 3-hour game. Poke the holes and
you just vote for all the Cubs.
Kill 40 or 50 trees with punching holes.
Yeah.
The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve help manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yeah, ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
That's interesting, Cody. How does it work?
An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually to last approximately 2 hours Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, don't wait, Luke. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
I didn't have time to write that down, Cody. Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
Yes, Luke, schedule it today.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was
a good one. Maybe we
switch it up tonight.
Switch it up more often. Shady Rays, they never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. The best part is about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades, on day one, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Drop them in the lake, off a cliff, anything. Even while you're doing a beer bat chug, they'll replace them. And even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I can tell you, holding in my hand, seem just as good as any expensive pair I have ever worn. Shady Rays customers seem to agree. Over 200,000 five-star reviews. And Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed. They've donated now over 20 million meals to date. They stand behind their product and told our team that if anybody has a problem, they throw profit out the window. They'll just do whatever it takes to get it right. Free returns, free exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. That's it. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season right now with summer on the way. Use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. I've got one I use strictly for fishing and sports. Now I've got another pair coming, a little more vibes.
Ooh.
A little more based on vibes. I will debut them as soon as they arrive in the mail.
I hope I see Stucky starting to light up his Instagram or something with the vibes that you're explaining.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, you saw the one I put out. That's I borrowed yours. Those don't quite fit the personality. I've got something a little more reserved than that, but still pretty electric, I will say. Pretty electric.
This Brian Herrera is here.
He is. There he is. CHGO gear. He's got the hoodie on.
Oh yeah, right there.
Well, Ryan, at least after an hour plus rain delay, at least the Cubs hit some home runs and made the game exciting enough to watch, because I was telling Cody, 6 infield hits isn't going to get it done. The difference in this is they finally hit some home runs. You hit home runs, you score runs, you win games.
Yeah. Well, Luke, did you call me short?
No.
This is what I'm seeing in the chat. You called me short as if you're like 6'5".
It was an unintentional. I said, this angle on this camera, the camera's up real high. And somebody in the chat said, I look like I'd be 5'2" if I stood up right now. And I said, yeah, like I do feel like we all look short in this. And I said, Ryan's not here tonight. And it was taken as Ryan is short. But the words Ryan is short were never out of my mouth.
That's what it sounds like. But
I mean,
we'll move past it.
But that's not.
We'll move past it. It's hour 10-minute rain delay. But bats came alive. Like Ian Happ that first inning. Buzzinski hits the home run that inning, takes a quick lead, and not that Taillon can't get past a 1-run lead, right? But it's like, okay, like he's had his ups and downs this year. It would obviously do the Cubs well to get him some runs back and support, let him kind of settle back into the game. Happ comes in with a 3-run home run. That was huge in itself. Mervis, the go-ahead run later in the game. Morel coming in the bottom of the – came in the top of the 8th, but he had that 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th. yeah, just a good day from the bats. I mean, there was a bunch of like infield hits too, but there was a lot of hard contact. Like just felt like every time they hit, like some of the balls that they were like hitting that were outs were pretty hard hit. Like Suzuki had that one. I think that was in the first inning, a line drive right to Swinski in center field. Right. So the bats woke up today. Obviously a big day for them. 11 runs. Backed up Taillon, and Taillon got his first quality start of the season actually. But yeah, it's like nights like these, especially after a rain delay. It's late at night. They just got back off a road trip, and they did have the day off, so that helps. But just to come in and put up a bunch of runs over for us, make the game watchable, like you said. But put up a bunch of runs and get a win to start the homestand. Like they're still 8 games back, right? But that's like a good first step to 8 games below 500, but that's a good first step as far as kind of getting that offense back on the right track.
We saw Happ come out of the game. There's multiple times where he was grabbing his calf, it looked like. Mm-hmm. Is there an update for him after the ball game, or is it more of a we'll wait and see tomorrow?
Happ and Horner, because I still don't know how Horner wouldn't have broken his fingers on that punt.
Yeah. Horner stayed in the game, so he seems to be fine. But yeah, like I saw that and like cringed a little bit myself because that looked like it hurt so bad. But it's obviously a lot tougher than I am. As far as Happ goes, David Ross said that the calf kind of grabbed on him a little bit right there, and that's why they pulled him out. So Morel replaced him in left field. He said that he talked to Happ. Happ doesn't seem too concerned about it, but they're going to kind of see. Ross said it was a little tight, so they're going to see kind of, like you said, Cody, just kind of wait and see how he feels tomorrow. They got a night game tomorrow, so they got kind of all day to for one, let the adrenaline of the game kind of wear off and see how he is feeling tomorrow, but then all day to kind of give him the treatment and stuff like that. So, we won't know his status, obviously, until tomorrow, but, Ross said Happ didn't seem too concerned about it, but we'll just kind of see where he's at when he gets to Wrigley tomorrow.
Okay. Earlier in the podcast, we ran the clip you ran or tweeted out pregame about David Ross talking about Bellinger at first base in Iowa. How do you? I'm curious just what you think of how that impacts a young player, because Joe Girardi brought it up. He said, you got a guy over there at Mervis, and it's not like he doesn't know. He's not hearing the same report about Cody Bellinger, and maybe you try to do more, but he had a nice base hit. It put the Cubs ahead. I guess it ended up being the game-winning hit, but that's a difficult thing for him to see. Do you think anything like that would impact Matt Mervis just from what you've been around him?
No, I mean, no, as in like, I think he still understands he has a job to do. And, Mervis, to be fair, like the results haven't been good, but he does have some of those underlying numbers. I know like a friend of the program, Michael Cerami, tweeted out some of his numbers, some of the underlying stuff that tells you some of those results should be better. So I think Mervis, professional, he's a professional ball player. He understands what comes with the job. And when the results aren't there, sometimes things need to get shaken up a little bit. I don't think it'll affect Mervis as much. Like playing time, it obviously would. Like if Cody Bellinger comes up to play first base, like they're going to have to find other spots to put Mervis, whether that's inserting him at first base when Bellinger maybe moves around or gets a day off, having Mervis hit DH. But I don't think Bellinger, if he were to come, I'm still not like, I don't think that's the expectation. I think it's a possibility. And that's kind of what I tweeted out, was that there's potential for it that Bellinger comes up and plays first base. I wouldn't say that's the expectation right now, but even if that's what happens when he comes up, I don't think it'll affect Mervis too much. I think he's a professional. He understands what his job is. And I think it's just part of that going through the rookie first time up kind of ups and downs. And he's a good hitter. I think he will do what he has to do to kind of get out or to make the results kind of stick, right? Maybe part of that's just getting more balls to find the outfield grass or seeing some of these hard hit balls just land rather than going right in someone's glove. Yeah. That's something that obviously would have to talk to Mervis about when or if that happens, and if it does, maybe get a little more insight from how he's thinking about it, how he's kind of approaching not losing the first base job, but obviously giving some of that time up to Bellinger.
I personally think that like Mervis is still going to get the same amount of at bats when Bellinger gets back, because they need Mervis in the lineup. They need the left-handed power, and like Ryan said, like
I think he'll still get the at bats.
Yeah, he's still hitting the ball hard. Yeah, the strikeouts have been a little high, whatever, but like I just feel like he deserves a very long run at it, and you just like. You don't really have a better DH possibility after that, except for Mancini. And honestly, I'd rather see Mancini face lefties, and that's it. I mean, they had Mastroboni in the DH spot tonight. Like,
I know.
like I'm just saying, like, I think Mervis will, if he, again, I don't think Bellinger will be playing first base every day when he gets back, but if he plays a little, then I expect Mervis to be DHing in a lot of those games.
Since Thursday night, they've had a couple lineups that have set off Twitter, like people just firing up, and they've won all 3 games. The 3 that I can remember specifically, they have won those games, which is just the way baseball is. That's the funny thing about.
I don't think any of them had Mastroboni, Madrigal, and Barnhart in them all back to back, but. Listen, Barnhart had 2 hits tonight. All right, I ain't gonna complain about Barnhart. And he threw someone out. So
Madrigal had 2 hits too.
Yeah, and Mastroboni, you know, the bunt wasn't great, and
please everybody stop bunting.
And then getting, you know, the ball hitting him or whatever, that was unfortunate. But he did hit a fly ball that unfortunately went to a glove. Whatever, I don't know. He's probably the only one who didn't have a good game tonight at all. So.
Ryan, do we know who's starting for the Pirates tomorrow? It was supposed to be Rich Hill, but then on the broadcast they were saying the Pirates hadn't announced a starter.
I mean, I don't know that anything's changed.
You haven't
if
seen
it was
or
supposed to be
anything?
Rich Hill, no, I haven't heard any update. Was there like a specific reason that was given for that?
No, I had just everywhere I had saw Smiley against Rich Hill in the broadcast. They said, well, the Pirates haven't announced their starters for the rest of the series. And I thought, well, that's weird. Everywhere I've looked, it says Rich Hill. So I'll be curious to see if Rich Hill's pitching tomorrow.
Well, it's listed as TBD now. So I didn't really check it earlier. So I don't know if he was supposed to be on
Interesting. There. Yeah. All right. Any other nuggets from out there? What are we at? It's 12:06. Any other nuggets from Wrigley Field before we all go home?
Well, I think before we get into who you got, it's funny how you're trying to kind of sneak over that one. No, we actually talked to Mike Tauchman earlier, and just, well, Ross said before the game, and I know people. Tauchman's been fine, right? Like we've talked about that he's been fine in place of Cody Bellinger. Mm-hmm. I've seen people kind of talk about how Bellinger needs to be in center field and you know, whatever the discourse is there because of his, you know, how good his glove is. I think Tauchman's been fine. You know, he led off again today. I think the last 3 games now he's led off. And David Ross talked about like just liking Tauchman's at bats, right? Like liking just how he approaches the game. And you see the on base percentage, I think, is over 400 now for him this season. And he's not a rookie or anything, but I guess the way he approaches his at bats, he takes a lot of walks, doesn't strike out too much, and that's kind of what we've talked about as like the traditional prototypical leadoff hitter, and he's kind of doing that. And I know it's not even at 100 plate appearances, but he seems to be earning David Ross's trust. We talked to Tauchman after the game, and you know, he kind of said that like the whole Bellinger thing, it doesn't matter to him what his role is. Like he's happy to be up here helping the team in whatever way they ask him. But obviously he said it's nice to kind of be earning that trust. But I think that all just kind of plays into when Bellinger's back. I don't see Mike Tauchman going down. I don't see him going back to AAA as just more, you know, AAA outfield depth. I think he's done enough with the bat, or, you know, with his plate approach and defensively in center field filling in, that I think we can see him stick around. Even if Bellinger does come up and takes over center field again, like I think Tauchman's kind of earned his spot on the major league roster until he kind of proves otherwise.
All right, who you got? Well, it's an interesting one tonight.
It's not.
Cody had Barnhart. Barnesy had a couple of hits. Boney got on base for
And he
Brendan.
scored a run. Okay.
Corey had Talkman. I had Mervis, who had one hit and got pulled, but he did have what turned out to be the game-winning RBI. Ryan had Happ, the 3-run homer, a walk, and an RBI by getting plunked on the foot.
He scored 4 times today.
I
Come on.
I think Happ won.
You think?
Well, no, I mean, I think
What about Barnhart?
when you have the,
No one
when you have the
expected Barnhart
game
to
when
do
you have the
anything.
game-winning hit, when the game is tied and you end up actually pushing across the win with your hit, I think you have something to say. But when the bases were loaded and they pulled, David Ross should be suspended for his move. He should be suspended right now for his move. And I would like you to go into the clubhouse tomorrow and be like, we just want you to know that this is you don't pull it. And Mancini was like, it was like 3 pitches and he was out of there.
All I know
Mervis was going to hit a bomb. That was going to be a grand slam.
It's Happ. It's Happ. I've won the last 2 games now. I won more tomorrow, and I'm on a winning streak. This is great. I'm out of my slump.
Ryan, with this one, picks up his 14th win of the season. So I'm going to change these to post-game stats now.
All I know, this is the much bigger thing. The Cubs are 2-0.
You can't say that around Ryan because people in the chat are going to say you're making short jokes.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I wasn't even trying to make short jokes. All I was getting ready to say is that the Cubs are 2-0 when I take Tucker Barnhart for who you got. So you're welcome for manifesting.
I mean, that it was looking good for a while. Okay, Ryan is
2
up
hits
to
in a
14.
Run. He almost has the same batting average as Wilson Contreras. Boom, roasted.
Who's not confident anymore. Lost his confidence.
Hate to see it.
All right, I'm setting this. I'm going to give you the final totals going into tomorrow then. I have 18 wins. Ryan has 14. Corey has 15. Cody has 10. And Brendan has 7.
Just remember that 10th win was Tucker Barnhart last Friday. Just remember that.
Post-game standings.
We're 3-1 in our last 4. Let's go.
It's a man of integrity.
We're 3-1 in our last.
I gave away the game-winning hit.
Yeah, 3-1.
An 11-3 win. Okay.
Yeah. We're 3-1. Yeah. 3-1 in our last 4 games.
Cody did the beer chug in less than 14 seconds after some time off. So we got that going for us. All right. We're all back here for a post-game show again tomorrow. Hope you'll join us. Thanks to everybody in the live chat for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Not enough likes there yet.
Madrigal Supporter Jr., a.k.a. P. Will Supporter Jr.
P. Will Supporter has changed over.
He's asking me to take Madrigal tomorrow. I would, but it's part of the rules that I can't in terms of like if I don't get the name in right away in Slack whenever the lineup comes out.
That's right. If he's not fast
enough. I have purposely
there's going to be a lot of people
been
taking
all
Madrigal.
the players who are struggling immensely to try and manifest them playing well. All right. So I'll take Madrigal tomorrow if it's good, if I can. Before Brennan or Corey take him because that they were doing base.
Or if he doesn't get scooped up before then.
Or Ryan loves Madrigal. He'll take him before anyone else.
Cubs win big. Take the opening game against first place Pirates. Go for game 2 tomorrow. We'll be here for the post game show. And thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. Make sure you check out Ryan's article at allchgo.com. And until Wednesday night's game, fly the W.